Hello and welcome to the course on C Programming Learn to Code series. This is the second lecture of Unit 3, and in this lecture we will talk about if statements in C. Particularly, we will learn about how to select some of the lines to execute using a if statement where a condition need to be mentioned, and if the conditions get satisfied, then only those statements gets executed. To explain in detail, I have taken a picture which will show you the importance of or the analogy of if statement. Here this character want to buy 5 chocolates because he has 5 friends. That means if he has 5 friends, then he needs 5 chocolates. If he had 10 friends, then obviously he needs 10 chocolates. So that exactly defining what is a if statement and how a if statement helps in taking a decision. Okay, so generally this is called a decision control structure or selection control structure, where there is a condition need to be tested. If the condition is okay or true, then the statements gets executed. So let's begin the discussion. So if you recall from the last lecture, we are talking about control structures, and I told you that control structure is of 3 types. One is called sequence, second one is called selection or branching. This is also called decision making or decision making process. Means you will decide on some of the statement to execute. And the third one is called iteration or looping. So where the multiple statement or a single statement need to be executed multiple times to solve a problem. So today we will discuss about this if statement. This will be coming under your conditional branching or conditional selection statement. So we can say selecting some of the lines to execute using if statement. So first thing first, let us understand how we are going to use this if statement or how we are going to write anything using the if condition. So whenever you are using this if statement, you need to understand that this if is a keyword. So this keyword will be used to write your program. Now I have given two syntaxes. This is represented in figure A and figure B. So the first figure showing if your program contains a single statement to be executed if the condition becomes true. So this is your single statement, and this figure which is in the right side will be multiple statements, or we can say compound statements. The meaning is, if your program have multiple statements that depends upon a condition to be executed, then you need to follow this syntax. And if your program has a single statement that depends upon a condition to be executed, then you should follow this syntax. Now come to the discussion of this syntax. You can see here that you have to write in this form only, which is marked in gray color, light gray color obviously. So you need to write the keyword that is if, then inside the bracket you need to specify the condition upon which the statement below it depends. So this statement is a single statement body, and remember, you should not put any semicolon over here. If you will put any semicolon over here, then statement's dependency will be uncovered, means it will not cover the dependency on this condition, and the statements will be executed irrespective of the condition is true or false. Okay, so this is the syntax for your single statement body. Then the next part is your compound statement body. In the compound statement body, you can notice that the statements are more in number over here, and everything is same as compared to this one, but there will be two new things introduced over here with a single curly braces, means opening curly braces and a closing curly braces. So if you specify all the statement inside this means this opening and closing curly braces, then all these statements which is written over here all are depending upon this condition to be executed. If the condition becomes true, all statements gets executed. If the condition becomes false, no statements gets executed. Okay, so this is how the things will be going on, and you need to understand that where to put semicolons and where to not. So I have mentioned the places where you should not put semicolon, otherwise the program might show you an error, and if the program does not show you an error, then it will be showing you a means unpredictable behavior. So you need to be careful about that. Sorry. So now the time come, we need to understand it with writing some programs. So let us go and understand it with some programming concepts. Now I'm opening the your VS Code where I'm going to write some programs. The first program that I'm going to write is a simple one which will show you how do we use the syntax that we have just now covered. Then we will solve some problems which may be asked in your examination, and you need to understand this in a proper manner. Well, so the question is, the simplest form is, I'm not going to solve any questions over here. I like to show you some programs that will explore more about your syntaxes first, then we will discuss about some problems. So let us write stdio.h, that is the first line. Then we need to write your void main. You can use also int main, that is your choice. So I am using void main, there will be no problem. Well, now what I'm going to do is I will write two variables, int x is equal to 5, y is equal to 6. Just for the sake of understanding the if statement, I'm writing this program. So if I'll write if x less than y, then I need to put one statement maybe. Let's say I want to put printf everything is okay. Everything is okay, just for the sake of understanding the syntax. So I have written a simple program where I have taken two variables with x is 5 and y has 6 value, and if the condition, that is x is less than y, then the program will print everything is okay, and if x is not less than y, then nothing will be printed. So let me run this program. If we run this program, you can see x is less than y, the condition gets satisfied, so this line gets executed, and you can notice that is a single statement that depends upon this if condition. So everything is okay gets displayed because the condition becomes true. Now if I make it x greater than y, sorry, I'm trying to execute this, then you can notice that this will be executing and nothing gets displayed on the screen. Okay, fine. Now if you put a semicolon over here, then what will happen? Immediately this dependency will be the dependency will be not there, the dependency will over. That means this printf statement is now not depending upon this condition, because after the condition there is a semicolon. So that means if either a condition is true or false, that does not matter, and the statements gets executed at any time. So here you can see I have written x is less than y, where the condition is true, but this statement, even it is true, will be executed, even it is not true, it is also executed. So I'll show you both, so you can see that now the condition is true, the output is everything is okay. Now the condition is false, I'm making x is greater than y. Now you can see this will also execute everything is okay. So why it is happening? Because I have put a semicolon over here. So while putting a semicolon, you need to be very careful about it while you are using if statement. Well, now I'll show you something where I will use multiple statements over here. So let me put a curly braces, then I will take this one and put it here, Control B. Okay, so this will be printing everything is okay. Then let me write another printf statement. So inside the printf statement, let me everything is clear. So let me that is the second statement that I am going to write. Okay, now multiple statement is depending upon this condition. That means if the condition becomes false, nothing will be executed, and if the condition becomes true, then everything gets executed. So let me show you. So here x is greater than y, that is 5 is greater than 6, will not work because the condition becomes false. So if I'll run this program, you can see nothing gets displayed over here. So let me put a \n so that things will be displayed in the next line. So if I'll make it x is less than y, now the condition is true, and if I run this program, you can see both the output is coming, everything is okay, everything is clear. Okay, now I'll show you another thing over here. Suppose, so this is how you are writing the multiple statements, since all the statements are getting executed if the condition becomes true, and no statements gets executed if the condition becomes false. Now if I'll remove this curly braces over here, and also from here, what you are going to notice, you can see here, if x is less than y, if the condition is true, now you can see I have not used any curly braces. That means indirectly I'm trying to say you that the first statement, that is everything is okay, printf everything is okay, is depending upon this condition, and this statement which is written just below it has no impact on whether the condition is true or false. Even if the condition becomes false, this will execute. Even if the condition becomes true, this will also execute. So let us see what is the output of this particular program. Let me clear the screen this side. Now you can execute this one. So if you run this one, because the condition is true, x is less than y, the first line will get printed, everything is okay, and the second line is not depending upon the condition, so that means this is also going to be printed. So if I'll run this program, you can see both the outputs are coming, everything is okay, everything is clear. But now you understand the things. If I'll make it greater than, so if I'll make it greater than, then x greater than y, the condition becomes false. That means the first statement which is depend upon this condition is not going to be executed, and only this line, as it is not depending upon the things, that will be executed. So let me run it. If I'll run this program, you can see the output is coming as everything is clear. So why it is coming? Because everything is clear is not dependent upon this condition, because here x is greater than y, the condition becomes false. That is why it will prevent to display this everything is okay part, but it is clearly displaying this everything is clear. So I hope you understand what is the difference between the curly braces, means what is the difference between multiple statement depending upon the condition and single statement depending upon the condition, and where to put the semicolon, where not to put the semicolons. That's all. Well, now we are going to solve some of the problems that will be generally asked in your examination. So the question is that I'm going to solve is write a program to find biggest number among three number without using with using if control structure. Okay, so that I'm going to write this program, and there will be some constraints that I'm going to explain over here. The first constraint means the conditions. Constraint means we can say what to use and what not to use. The first constraint that I'm going to specify here is you should not use else statement. That means the else keyword you should not use. And the second constraint will be you should not use logical operators. Okay, so these are the two constraints that is given in your question. You are not allowed to use else statement, and you are not allowed to use your logical operators. Okay, so that means purely you have to solve this problem using if statements only. That means if control structure only. So how to solve it? So before that, let me explain you a simple thing over here which will help you to understand the logic behind it. After that, we will execute the program. Okay, so to explain you, let me open my pen tool over here, and by explaining this you will be able to understand what is going on, means how we are approaching this problem, or how we are going to solve this problem. So suppose you are in a university, and in your university there are several classrooms. Let's say this is your classroom number 1, this is classroom number 2, this is classroom number 3. So I'm just predicting C1, C2, C3. These are the classrooms. And above the classroom, how many students has been how many students are present inside the classroom is written. Let's say it is written 32, this is 65, this is 80. Now I told you that means I'm your professor, and I'm asking you just go and see in which classroom the students are, means how many students are there, means who in which class uh, there will be biggest number of students will be available, means how many students will be available. So you are here and you want to find out in which class the largest number of students are present. So what you are going to do is you will travel in this manner from classroom number C1 to C3, and while traveling what you are taking a simple paper, and that paper is empty initially, and by taking that paper you are going to write the number of students present in each class. So when you reach here, so at this place at C1, then what you have written in your paper is you write 32, you wrote 32. Okay, because you found that inside the class C1 there are 32 students, and when you reach here in C2 you found that there will be 65 students. So what you have seen that 65 is more than 32, so you replace this 32 with 65, which indirectly indicate that that is the highest number currently. And when you reach at this classroom in C3 and you found that there are 80 students, which is more than 65, so you remove this 65 from your paper and you wrote 80. And when you reach near me and you tell me that sir, there will be 80 students, in 3 classroom, uh, one classroom have the highest number, that is called 80. So that means that is the biggest number among these 3 classrooms. So I hope you understand the concept. That means you need a blank paper and you need to know in each classroom how many students are there. Then you can find out the biggest number of, means the largest number of students present in which classroom. Okay, so that is the analogy, or that is the interesting example over here, and I'm going to use this concept to solve your problem without using this else condition as well as logical operators. So let us solve it. So I'm going to solve this. Let me close this one. Now I don't require this. So what I'm going to do is I will write the program something like this. Okay, so I'm going to take 3 variables, int c1, c2, c3. So you assume that these are the 3 variables where the numbers are present. And another thing, I'm going to use blank. Blank is a paper that I'm going to use to write the number of students present in each class. Now you think it as 3 numbers present in C1, C2 and C3. Blank is just a temporary variable. I'm taking it to mention the number which is present in these variables. Okay, so first of all let me take what are the values for C1, C2, C3. So enter 3 numbers, then scanf. You need to write %d, 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 comma, ampersand C1, comma, ampersand C2, comma, ampersand C3. So that's all. I have taken the values for C1 and C2, C3. Now what I'm going to do is assume that you have the variable blank page. Then you need to assign initial condition, that is you need to assign C1's value in blank. So you will write C1 is equal to blank. Okay, so after doing this, I need to write in a opposite way, blank equal to C1. That means C1 has some value, I want to put it in the variable blank. Okay, now what you are going to check is if C2 is greater than blank, okay, then what should I do? I should put blank as C2, blank is equal to C2. Then we need to write another if statement. If C3 is greater than blank, then we need to put blank equal to C3. Okay, so after you do this, what you will find? You will find the biggest number or will be present in the variable blank. Now let me make you understand this part, then I will tell you what should I write in the last statement. So to do that, let me again use the pen tool. So you can see here we have declared three variables. So the first variable is your C1, second variable is your C2, and third variable is your C3. Now let's say you have entered 32, 65, 23. Let's say these are the three variables. Now after executing up to this, we get three values in the three variable. Now what I have done blank equal to C1. So blank is another variable. So inside blank you put C1's value, that is 32. Now blank contains 32, and when this line gets executed, C2 is greater than blank. So if you see, C2 is 65, blank is 32. Obviously 65 is greater than 32. So what I am trying to see is I am trying to put C2's value inside blank. So what will happen? If I'll put C2's value inside blank, then it will be 65. Then after executing this if statement, it will come to this if statement, and inside this if statement it is written C3 is greater than blank. C3 is 23, so 23 is greater than 65, which is false. So this line will not execute. So at last you can see blank contains the highest value among these three, 32, 65, 23. So 65 is having the highest value. So that is the biggest number. So finally what should I write? I should display the value of blank, which will be the output of our program. So printf, the biggest number is %d. We need to print the blank's value, blank. Okay, now everything is okay. Now that means we have done the program. Now let me run this program. I hope you understand this program, how to use only if statement to find out biggest number among three number. So let me run this and show you the output. So he's asking about three number. Let me enter 54, 76, 32. So you can notice the biggest number is 76. Let me run this again. So he's asking again. So let's say 45, 32, 98. So you can see the biggest number is 98. So I think you understand, means you have understood the concept, what is there and why I have written the program like this. Because there are two constraints, I am not going to use else statement, I am not going to use logical operators. Okay, so this is how you are going to solve this problem. If you have any doubt, you can post your queries on the comment section and you will definitely get an answer of that. So with this, I'm ending this class. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.